looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me. I am in misery. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in
Hello and welcome to Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, and I'm joined, as always, by the natural Ashford Pizarro. Ashford, how you doing tonight?
I'm maybe sleepy. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I don't know why you'd be sleepy. We had a wonderful episode of NXT. Oh, wait. You are indeed Wendy Chu, still a sleepy gal.
I miss one day too.
You can watch her almost every week on Evolve.
I know, but I still miss her at NXT though.
It's fine. She's doing wonderful things in Evolve. You don't have to miss her. You should know you're there. Of course, we have the Ogre Lord in the chat ×2. We have woohoo, time for some Fallout Las Vegas. Oh, never mind. You mean Fallout from Las Vegas. I did indeed type the word from. I thought about doing Fallout, parentheses Las Vegas as a gaming reference that people would enjoy, but decided against it because I didn't think she'd get it. So I still don't think she gets it. Yes, I was indeed blaming Astrid, shall we say, for her technical difficulty. Which, if blaming Astrid means telling the truth, then yes, I was blaming Astrid.
This time around.
Millie's here saying, hi, friends. Hello. STG, I have nothing witty to add today as I missed the show due to training. STG keeps sending me on Twitter. He keeps sending me updates on his runs that he's taking. He's doing fantastic. 4+ miles on these runs that he's doing. Fantastic work. Good luck on Sunday, my friend. But we're not here to talk about STG and his running capabilities. That's a different show for a different time. Tonight, we're here to talk about the fallout. I mean, it's still in Vegas, but fallout from Stand and Deliver. It's the last show in Vegas for the week. We're the finishing act, and we're getting ready to, go back home to the PC where these shows are going to feel so small and stifled. And I love these shows in front of big crowds. Like I don't know what to tell you. I like these shows so much better. I mean, I don't like this crowd, but I like crowds. This
I mean, you're gonna
Vegas
get the
crowd.
Tampa one soon.
What's that?
The Tampa one's coming up soon.
Yeah, sure. They'll be fine. It's Tampa,
I mean, it's bigger
Florida.
than the PC.
Well, yes, but everything's bigger than the PC.
I
We
know.
could do this at friggin' a chaotic show and it'd be bigger than the PC. The PC only holds what, 150 people at max capacity?
I don't know.
They
I
do
haven't been there
200
yet.
plus. Hell, chaotic and PPW do 200 plus. Like, come on, NXT, step up your game. Get a bigger venue for NXT on a weekly basis. I mean, hell, only Full Sail only did what, 300? I think it was.
I think maybe, yeah.
Full Sail was fine. The PC, the CWC is just too small. Just too small. And it wasn't even the fact that because STG is sitting here saying these Vegas crowds disappointed me all weekend. It felt like fair weather fans. I don't think it was fair weather fans. Like what I'll say is they were a very particular wrestling fan, and they're not my acquired taste as a wrestling fan. It seemed like there was a lot of times where the crowd would go into business for themselves all weekend, whether it be Stand and Deliver, whether it be Mania, whether it be, and this didn't just permeate WWE shows. The GCW crowd was the same way when I watched the GCW shows that I did watch. The crowd at FSW was a similar type. A lot of the collective shows that I watched had that same feel to it. It is what it is, It's Mania weekend. People still in Vegas were tired. They were indeed tired today. Yes. The fire codes are indeed serious business. They might be small, but No. The PC crowd is not loud. The PC crowd is amplified. There's a difference. Wrestling fans going into business for themselves? No, indeed. Wrestling fans will never be like professional wrestlers and go into business for themselves. I mean, no, probably no. But yeah, sure, why not? I mean, last night was a showcase for Stephanie Vaquer, not to start a storyline between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer and Io and Roxanne. It was to showcase Stephanie as a, hey, look, this is what's coming soon. Enjoy. Her days are numbered on NXT, and I'm sad. We just got her. We're going to lose her very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
However, I am going to make a big statement. I think the main event of Worlds Collide will involve Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, most likely.
Because I can't tell you, unless it's Vikingo versus Penta versus Rey Fenix versus Rey Mysterio, I can't tell you of any other match that AAA and NXT can put on. Mostly because there are no luchadors in NXT. So it would have to be luchadors coming from the main roster down to have men main event that show. And if you're main eventing with the men, you're main eventing with Vikingo. Because, well, come on. It's AAA and it's Vikingo. There really is no other option. You're certainly not going to use notable prick Alberto Del Rio in your main event.
No, please.
What do you think? We haven't got your thoughts on this. Like they haven't. I know me, you, and Jose talked about this for about 10 minutes on After Stand and Deliver post show when the news came out. What are your thoughts on the AAA NXT partnership? Well, the WWE's purchase of AAA. It's not a partnership. It is a purchase.
Yeah. Is it I forgot the name they used. It was acquired. There you go. By WWE. That's the wording they like to use. I'm torn about it just because I understand people thinking of like WWE taking over. It could be something like almost like, I don't want to say dangerous because it sounds weird to say that. But it could be maybe challenging in some ways, but at the same time, I feel like it opens eyes to other people that don't know about the the talent. Like for example, like for those that don't know, like in our Discord, like people like Mark who was like, who's Vikingo? What matches do I need to watch from him? It's always nice to see. Yes, NXT Mexico. It's always nice to see people that are in a bubble in a way expanding to watch other people there as well. And I feel like that's something that could benefit AAA in the end because more people are gonna want to watch their shows and know about their talent after you see people like Vikingo, for example. He's one of the ones that I really enjoy there so far. And it'll introduce me to other people I don't know about. And there's also not only the AAA but the rumors of like they'll probably do a partnership with WWC in Puerto Rico, which will also help out Puerto Rico in the end and bring more travel if they decide to do the talent exchange between both companies as well. So I think it'll be interesting moving forward. I do hope that that means that they will do more shows in the Hispanic market. This is something I would like to see happening more often. I feel like they saw that with Backlash. It did really well in Puerto Rico, so I would like to see more variety in the Hispanic crowds there because I feel like we rarely get that too.
Yeah. So in the chat, go ahead and tell us what you think you would main event the AAA show with. What matches would you like to see on that show? What talent from AAA would you like to see? I can't wait. I kind of want to do a watch along to this as opposed to doing a review of this because mostly I just need to see Astrid's reaction to the clowns. And I don't mean clowns as in people. I mean clowns as in there's a faction of clowns in AAA. Most people don't know this because I don't talk about this and I don't tell people. I watch Triple Mania almost every year. In Spanish, I watch Triple Mania almost every year. It is the most ridiculous fucking thing in the world. Like, if you thought Lucha Underground was interesting, wait till you see when Triple Mania has a gauntlet match of Marvel characters. Without any licensing agreements. They just do it. Including, I believe, Brian Cage was, I believe, Wolverine one year. And they had a Spider-Man. All kinds of crazy shit happens at Triple Mania. Conan is there, and if there's anybody more chaotic in wrestling world than Conan right now, I don't know.
Did you get
that man?
Who's got one of his DMs promoting his podcast?
I have. Everybody's gotten one of those DMs, and if you haven't, Hollywood Astrid gave a fear of clowns. It is complete and utter nonsense, and it's fun. And Triple Mania is fantastic. Also, the voice of my generation on the Spanish WWE broadcasts still works down in AAA. Hugo Savinovich is still down there. I love Hugo. Hugo's great. He was the voice of my generation. Whenever I'd catch WWE on like Telemundo or something, it'd be Hugo.
Atangana. Yep, I know that.
Who's there? I honestly I can't even remember. I literally watch AAA once a year. I know.
No, but I mean the Raw in Spanish. You would say that too.
Yeah. Oh no. I just mean like the Thriller entrance. I'm like,
yeah.
I know there's a Michael Jackson impersonator who does professional wrestling. I want to say it's Julian Santana. I think is his name.
I think so, Santana.
But I don't know if he comes out to Thriller or not. I don't know if he's worked in AAA. But this AAA partnership could be very fun. Obviously, as we discussed on the Night One post show with Megan, there are some issues with having Stephanie Vaquer promoting this AAA. Okay, Santana
there
Jackson.
I
knew there was a Santana somewhere in there. I knew there was a Santana in there somewhere. Okay, he was at GC. I mean, to be honest, who was it at GCW this weekend? Everybody was there. Big ups to me spoiling it for Andre when I told him the clusterfuck was won by Brody Jr. That was great. But no, NXT tonight was, well, it was a show. It was not stand and deliver. We opened with the Judgment Day in the worst booked story of the weekend. Worse than John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, which take some effort to undo John Cena versus Cody Rhodes this weekend. But if it was undone by something, it was indeed the story of the Judgment Day, and they're flip-flopping of the women's tag team championships. Astrid, do you want to talk about Judgment Day versus Chemical X here?
Okay, so I'm like, I was torn about this because I like Liv and Raquel the way they are as a team, but the storyline would have been so much sweeter if this was Lyra instead against Tatum here. It's like in my mind I was already set on that happening, so more than anything that was a moment that I was like, I was waiting for that moment that they would come face to face in the ring, and I can imagine the crowd's reaction when that would happen, and I was already thinking that in my mind, so I was like, I was not as excited thinking of Liv and Raquel because in my mind I wanted that moment with Lyra there. But I did enjoy the match. I feel like it was a lot of fun. I was surprised that they were opening to begin with, but I feel like they had a chemistry and they had the crowd going. I'm glad that at the same time that they opened, just because we had the crowd's reaction, the energy was really up there to begin with at the beginning of the show at least. So I'm very glad they did. At one point, Gigi does an STO to Liv. That was beautifully done as well. And even Liv saved the match at the last minute almost, but they had a really great back and forth. I really enjoyed what they had here. After having Liv and Raquel win again the championships last night, I already knew that they were going to retain tonight. I feel at least with Becky and Lyra, you could have had a little bit of that doubt maybe in there, but you never know. But at the same time, with having Liv and Raquel just winning the titles, I knew we're not going to lose them yet. But I'm like, again, it's disappointing that I would like to see the girls from NXT win those tag team championships at one point during NXT. That would be the only thing. But other than that, it was fine.
So the thing I'll note about this, because I've seen this tweet going around a whole bunch today about Tatum didn't go save Lyra. So something that you might not know about televised. So, and I'm not saying this to Millie, I'm saying this to tons of people because I've seen this thing online all the time. Something that I've realized going to live televised wrestling, especially WWE live televised wrestling, when you see those people in the crowd, unless they're needed for the entire match, they're there long enough to get the shot, and then they disappear.
Gone. Mm-hmm.
They do not stay there. So by the time Lyra got attacked, Tatum was already way in the back, probably in a cab on her way home. I thought this was a fine match. Again, I'm going to do my standard thing. I never really like Liv Morgan matches. I don't love the way she works. That gets amplified when we then have her working with Raquel Rodriguez, who I really don't like the way Raquel works. I want Raquel to be great. I really do. The problem is Raquel is in this little box that, like, everybody does what she needs to do better than her. And that's a bad thing for her.
Mm-hmm.
She's not the best tall women's wrestler. She's not the best Spanish wrestler. She's not like, she's just all the things that they want to push her as. She's just not the best at. And it's like, what do we do? She's getting better. She had a good match tonight. It was better than the match she had on Raw, and it was much better than the match she had at Mania. And that's saying something, considering this is her third match in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But see, even that, she has a strong back, but at the same time, Rhea has more definition, and Bianca's stronger. So she doesn't even get to have that anymore because there are two that are more defined and better. And like, it's like Alicia Fox. And no, I'm not going to go on the whole rant again, but people remember Alicia Fox for two things. Noam Dar, who we'll talk about in a bit, going, Alicia Fox. Or the fact that she has an incredible Northern Lights suplex. Those are the two things that anybody can ever say on behalf of Alicia Fox. And there's nothing wrong with Alicia Fox. But You've got to have more. You've got to have something, Raquel. I'm praying. Do something. I'm poking you with the stick like The Simpsons. Come on, do something.
And even when she talks, it doesn't seem like genuine. When she speaks
Nope.
Spanish, it even sounds fake to begin with. And I'm like, how does that even sound fake from a Hispanic person? Like, it just doesn't sound real coming from her. There's no authenticity to her either. And it's like, what's her character? That she's Spanish? That's it. Like, there's nothing to it.
I honestly miss cowgirl Raquel, who was like this cowboy girl. Like, I almost wish they'd go back to that and start from square one again. Go all the way back to the Mae Young Classic 2 and just start her up as cowgirl Raquel again and see what happens.
Yeah.
Am I the only one? I'm not the right person to ask this question to, so we'll ask it to Astrid. Am I the only one okay with the Becky turn? This could actually bring some notoriety to the Intercontinental Championship. It hurt my feelings and it was a bit excessive, but I totally get it.
So I'm torn about it because I do like that we have, at least based on how it's going, we do have somebody for Lyra, and I feel like this is going to be similar to that Bianca Becky storyline, that it's going to catapult Lyra more to stardom in that sort of way in the division. But at the same time, them winning the titles, them losing the titles, it just, that part, it just upset me at that point, because first you think about the fact that from behind the scenes what it looks like, of like, oh, we pulled Bailey to put in Becky, so that doesn't look good to begin with. And then they win the title, so it's like, and then you win them back, so that makes Liv and Raquel look terrible at the same time, but also good later because they're 4-time tag team champions, and then Raquel's a 5-time now. So I was like, I'm very torn about it. I like the turn, but I just don't like the fact that we had to do all of that for that turn to happen. I feel like it would have been nice to like kind of build it up a little bit more rather than just have it happen within not even 24 hours.
That's bad when it sounds fake too.
I mean,
so
it does.
Here's the thing. I think if you're gonna turn Becky heel, you do it on the big stage. Or if you're not gonna turn her at Mania because you're saving it for Raw, then you don't have them win the titles. And you have Becky do a segment where she calls out Lyra and does a promo where she's like, look, I get it. We had a hard time. Thank you for choosing me, yada, yada, yada. Then she beats her down. Because last night, it felt blasé. It just felt blasé. It didn't. I didn't feel bad for Lyra. I didn't feel angry at Becky. I was just like, okay, we got
it
the
just
heel
felt
turn.
like forced in a way.
Yeah,
because it was rushed, and like I was telling you guys in the Discord, it just, if I were to compare it that way, the turn on Charlotte was better just because at that moment we were so tired of seeing Charlotte in the title picture that we wanted somebody new to like really step up, and I feel like Becky stepped up at that moment, so it worked out in the end. A lot of people were like tired of like having Charlotte in the spotlight, and you have somebody like Becky, who's the friend who won her title shot and gets pinned by Charlotte to win the title to begin with. You do get the sympathy for Becky. So it's like when you see her turn on Charlotte, then you celebrate it because you're like, finally she's getting that, her moment. But do I like the fact that Lyra probably has a contender and there's direction for the title? Yeah, but at the same time, I just don't like the chain of events that had to happen to lead to all this. And it just, at that point, it's like you kind of lost the plot there for me. But I'm glad for the opportunity that Lyra is going to get, just to be able to get that spotlight. I feel like this would have been better even before Mania, just because at least we would have had Becky versus Lyra for Mania, and I feel like that would have been great to begin with too.
Also, we do definitely have to talk about the whole Bailey of it all. Yeah, this sucks for Bailey. I mean,
Yeah.
If you were just going to throw together a tag team, why not do the Lyra tags with Becky in the match, and then they win the opportunity, and then they go to WrestleMania? Like, there were so many other ways this could have gone. Also, when you do a heel turn and the crowd is chanting one more time for the person that's the heel, you don't fucking listen and you just walk away. We had a Lexis
Okay.
King digital promo from earlier today with Penn and Teller. He got his championship back. Yay! We had a Bloodsport recap, which was a lot better. We got to recap the NXT talent at Bloodsport, which I thought was going to be more, but they just did Dempsey and Tavion Heights, which, by the way, were fantastic. If you haven't seen that, if you have the opportunity to watch Bloodsport, please do. It's a fantastic show. I actually stayed up for the entire show, even though I planned on going to bed after like most of the WWE stuff happened. It was a really, really good show. A lot of WWE people came out looking fantastic this year. Shocker. Shocker. WWE people look fantastic when they're being loaned out. I don't know why that would happen. After this, we get a Myles promo where he's talking to Wren and they're trying to figure out, why Myles didn't get to go to Bloodsport. I'm like, well, there's only so many spots, and Tavion Heights and Charlie Dempsey are much more signed on for this, so I think we should just do those two.
That was so weird.
It was a weird beginning. And then Dark State comes up and they're teasing Myles about, being left out and being the empty boy at the party. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I remember that, Ashton sent me a tweet from Corey Hayes saying big Myles push incoming. And I'm like, I don't know if I like where this is going, if this is the beginning of a big push for Myles. Because then real main event star Javon Evans comes walking in and he's still part of the Dark State story, which feels like a downgrade, but at the same time, Dark State feels like such a big story on the show that I guess it's okay. And we get a tag team match made. So it'll be 2 members of the Dark State versus Myles and Javon. That'll be fun. We'll talk more about that later. Did anyone see the sign in the crowd that said shave his beard with a paintbrush? We'll talk more about Lexis King in a bit. And by in a bit, I mean right now, because Ricky Stanks comes out to cut a promo. And Lexis King comes out and interrupts him. And they're going to have a match next week. At this point, that was winner take all. North American Championship versus Heritage Cup. And you know what? I was very excited for this. For one reason only. It was going to get rid of the fucking Heritage Cup. I was like, cool. We can unify it all and just have the North American title and get rid of the stupid Heritage Cup because it's not being defended. And the only reason we should have the Heritage Cup, if it's going to be defended like the Heritage Cup is supposed to be defended, the whole Lexis King, no, this is a one fall match, just makes it a title. And at that point, get rid of the cup and just get a belt.
Yeah.
However, that's not what we're going to get. I know, but we know it's real because his mystery opponent tried to rub it off with his hand, which was great. Yes, Noam, other people trying to wipe off his beard. It was indeed. Logan thinks it'll be Jordan Grace versus Stephanie Vaquer at Battleground instead of Julia. I really don't think Julia's going to Japan anytime soon, especially if she's in the main event picture. Like, the way it was built tonight, it looks like it'll be a triple threat match. Eventually, someday, we're going to get the singles match between Stephanie Vaquer and Julia again. I swear, at some point, we're going to get that damn match. Oh, probably it's getting delivered next year, by the way the fucking NXT booking is going, but don't get me started on that. We then get the most pointless segment of the entire show, which is saying something, because boy, were there some pointless segments on this show. So, Hank and Tank were talking to Zaruka, which was fine. I thought this was good. Because Tank's trying to talk about where he should wear his title. And he's like, I can't really fit it around my waist. Maybe I put it on my thigh. And I'm like, no, please don't. For the love of God, please don't. And Hank's like, no, traditional man, around the waist. And I'm like, all right, makes sense. Zarya looks like she's like, what the fuck thing did I do bad backstage that I have to be part of this bullshit? Then Thea comes running up and she like jumps into Hank's arms. which makes me ask all sorts of questions, none of which I should be discussing here. And then Jada comes and starts yelling about how she can't handle Thea's energy, which I can completely understand, even though Jada's a terrible person. But I can understand her not wanting to deal with Thea's energy. Because God is Thea a lot. Remember, never forget, Mama Fries. What does she do before her matches? Cocaine? We then get terrible toxic coming into this as Zaruka finally decides, well, our part's done. We're going to leave. Tank do the same. So it's just Thea and then terrible toxic. And terrible toxic makes fun of Thea. And Fallon goes, Jacy, you should really take her out once and for all. And Jacy looks at her and goes, bitch, please. And she's like, if you want something done, do it your damn self. And Jacy and Jazmyn walk away, and I'm like, okay, good. Terrible Toxic is finally being broken up. It's about damn time. For the love of God, it's about damn time.
It's about damn time. No, you don't know that one either.
Why did we have to have all of this? Why couldn't we just have Thea Hale versus Fallon Henley?
That was as you said earlier, cluster F, because I don't want to say it, because that was...
The word you're looking for is cluster.
I know, but I don't want to say it, so that's why you said it. Yeah, this was just a mess. I just don't understand why this had to happen. Thank you, Melly.
I don't know what a Lizzo is. Okay, I don't know. Astra will educate me later.
First,
she does
first
like to try to save her. We've done Ice Spice. We did
Sabrina.
Carpenter. Yeah,
and now
Carpenter.
Lizzo. Oh my gosh.
Listen,
but yeah, this was
I stopped listening to pop music in the late 2010s. The only thing I remember Sabrina Carpenter from before everybody made a big deal about it was I remember her on Girl Meets World. And I only know I know her from. Well, yes, that's because that's all she's ever done. And apparently she sings music. I don't know. She might be good. I don't know.
She is good.
Apparently. I don't know.
But yeah, this segment was just one of those, like, I could have done without this. This could have been one of those, like, just skip over to the Fatal Influence Thea part in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. We then get back to the ring, finally. Not that I wanted to be back in the ring because I knew Lexis King was there. I was sad when it got canceled too. It was a good show. It was indeed a good show. But Lexis King is calling out for his opponent, and Metaphor's music hit. And I got very excited because I thought it was going to be Ora Mensa. Because he's the one person from this group that I could ever tolerate. And it was Noam Dar. And I, for some reason, was still excited. I don't know why. Why was I excited to see Noam Dar?
I have no idea. I still ask the same point. Still wonder that.
Lexis King defeats... No, I'm sorry. I'll rephrase that. Noam Dar returns and defeats Lexis King to become the new Heritage Cup champion, which I believe this now makes Noam Dar a 4-time Heritage Cup champion. He won it in NXT UK once. Then he was the last champion. He brought it to NXT. He won it. He lost it. He won it. And he lost it. And now he won it again. It was the first time seeing him since the debut of Ethan Page. Not even on screen. Just the Attack debut of Ethan Page. Yes, Supernova, I believe it's 11, right? Supernova 11, I believe, is Noam Dar. I thought the match was good. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was pretty good. Lexis King looked great. Noam Dar always wrestles very well. I want this to go back to rounds again, and I want Noam Dar to go back to the Heritage Cup as his entire freaking... That's the funny thing. It's not. there is so much more to Noam Dar than the Heritage Cup. Like, there's some great shit for Noam Dar. If you watch some of his indie runs or his run in 205 Live, his time with Alicia Fox, his time. Joe Hendry made a song about him and his hand because on the indies he used to like to look at his hand and lick his hand, and so Joe Hendry did a whole song about him and his hand. It's great.
Sure.
Why don't you like Noam Dar? Why so much hate for Noam Dar from you?
I'm unlike you. I'm not hating. I just say he's not my cup of tea.
You get your Gatorade over there.
Yeah, I drank my Gatorade before the show.
Do you have any thoughts on the Heritage Cup Championship match?
I mean, it was fine to me. I think like everybody else, was just that part with him rubbing Lex's face. Was not expecting him to win like that, but at the same time, I'm glad just because it's off of Lexis at this point. But at the same time, I was hoping that they'll be like, oh, and then now he gets a North American Championship match. So I was like, ugh. I'm glad it's Ricky, so it makes me doubt he's gonna win even more, like Lexis winning.
Yeah, he's not winning.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, I know for sure that Lexis is not winning, but I was hoping that they will still not do that match. Because I'm like, I don't want him to get the title shot to begin with. But I'm glad it's against Ricky, so it makes me happy that he's not gonna win it. Thank you, Millie.
We then get a Roxanne promo where she's talking about being on Raw and attacking Stephanie Vaquer and how Julia showed up, and it felt like Roxanne called out Julia instead of calling out Stephanie for some odd reason. Like, I don't know what the point of this promo was, other than to promote the main event. But like, is it just me, or did you get confused to what she was talking about by the end of this promo?
I just I feel like they should have not combined it because I feel like they were asking her about the Raw after Mania, but at the same time she wanted to talk about the main event, and I feel like both things got combined in the end somehow. And that part is why that didn't make a lot of sense. But I do like how confident she looks when she's talking. I'm like, she's grown in that aspect of it, so I'm glad to see her there. I'm like, hey, this is the last match we get from the Prodigy. You did great, my friend.
I mean, no. I'll just no. There's no reason why either of them should be in a tag team. And if Roxanne Perez was going to be in a tag team on the main roster, it should have just been Cora Jade. Cora needs more seasoning. Roxanne can help her do that. The tag division is great for that. And it gets her off my television screen so I don't have to talk about her on Tuesdays. Granted, it's Cora Jade, so I don't have to talk about her anyways because most of the time she's injured and sitting at home.
Man, Jose Sambo will be great right now.
I mean, folks, where's the lie?
No, you gotta show the new one. Come on.
I don't like the...
I love it.
That's just because there's Rollins there.
I know.
You don't care what he's saying as long as you can look at Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and hear him talk too. Sure.
Speaking of hearing people talk and all kinds of fun stuff, I'm going to step away. I'm going to throw up the video, and then Astrid is going to talk about when we come back. Thea Hale versus Fallon Henley. I'm going to try to reset my computer. I'll be right back.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway.
Don't worry, I'll be jamming out too, Millie. I was gonna say, is this how you jam out?
Said she's very afraid of heights. She's scared.
I had to grab that one after this weekend. But no, we'll go ahead. I was gonna say now that I saw it in the calendar, for those of you that watch horror, we got a companion horror review coming up for Killer Cuts for Bobby and myself. So Ed said he's gonna restart his computer. I don't know what happened to it, so we'll have him back in a moment, hopefully. Yes, I hope it's about the clip because I liked the clip after I saw it on Twitter for the weekend. But yeah, there you go. He's back. There you go. Now I can see him.
My computer's making noises. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I don't have a 56K connection. Thank you.
I mean, it looks like it.
Quiet you. You're the reason why the show was 5 minutes late today. Thank you.
Yeah, but at least my stuff is working.
Now, wasn't working 10:50. It wasn't working then.
Still it's working now.
All right.
Either way, we're gonna talk about Fallon and Thea because I didn't get to say anything because I was putting. Melly said she was jamming out, so I put the Thea clip for her. Hey, I had technical difficulties. I fixed them right away. Okay. Look at that one. I know you like that video, Thea dancing.
No, it's the stuff of fucking nightmares.
Anyway, Fallon Thea. So it was nothing out of the ordinary in itself. I think the part that really stands out to everybody is the fact that Jacy went to kick Thea. Thea got out of the way and it hit Fallon. And then it basically almost led to the finish with the Kimura luck. And then Fallon tapped almost right away. So that was interesting. So it's definitely leading to that demise of the fatal influence. Finally.
It also took like 5 minutes. Like it was.
Yeah.
This match and the Noam Dar match, I literally missed the finishes because I was trying to do other things on my computer and somehow missed the finish. She is not adorable. No, I refuse to stop that. She is not adorable. I refuse. I will not stand for that slander. I don't know. It was a match. It started. It finished. Thea Hale wins. Thea Hale versus Sol Ruca is coming at some point in the near future. Fine. I mean,
it's just I'm glad Thea has something going on at least without the Chase U stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way she just came out of nowhere to get a title shot like that, I was like, okay. I would have preferred Carmen would have won that match instead, but that's a different story for a different day.
We then get the Oba Femi promo. He praises Javon, says that even he underestimated how great the young OG can be. The young OG is going to be a star in this business. It was nice to see. Then out came crashing out Trick, and Trick started running his mouth again. And that was less fun. He wants his one-on-one rematch. And then, to shock the world, somebody said his name again, and Joe Hendry showed up.
Yes.
Fresh off of his short demise at WrestleMania on night 2 when Randy Orton defeated him in about 5 minutes. He comes out and he, cuts a promo, talks about how, he was there at WrestleMania. Trick tries to make fun of him for losing at WrestleMania. He's like, yeah, but I was out there in the ring in front of 60,000 fans and you were in the stands.
Ouch.
Yeah. Trick then tries to get involved in champ business, and the champs both decide to put aside whatever differences there are between them at the moment to throw Trick to the outside. I don't know if I need or want Oba Femi versus Joe Hendry. And I have a feeling that we're having a new TNA champion this Friday at Rebellion. I think they're going to put the title on Kazarian because I think Trick is going to cost Joe Hendry the match. And I don't see them putting the title on Ethan because even when Ethan was in the company, they didn't bother putting the world title on Ethan Page. So Lord knows now he's with WWE. They're sure as hell not going to put the title on him. I mean, it'll be better and easier to talk about than Oba Femi versus Moose. That's for damn sure.
That's true.
Stax meets with Luca in the desert. The entirety of this promo can be summed up in one thing. Do you know why I invited you here? Oh, fuck. I believe it was Millie who posted on Twitter. Did NXT just become the Sopranos? Yeah, it's about fucking time we got back to Tony D'Angelo being a mobster again. Or at least somebody in the family being a mobster. Also, does that mean I don't get Luca on Wednesdays on Evolve anymore? Because I'll be sad if that's the case.
I'll be sad if I don't see Luca anymore. What the heck is this? I didn't ask for this. Nobody did.
This is all your fault, Asher.
What did I do?
Millie does indeed say that it was her. Okay, good to know. This is your fault. You did this. All your praising of Ethan Page now has you doing this. You praise Ethan Page so much that they're going to get rid of Luca on you. And if you keep misbehaving, they're going to take away more of your toys. We'll leave that joke alone. We have a Zaruka promo / ad for Xfinity.
Again. Why?
Yeah. Why? I understand Sarah Schreiber is saying Stand and Deliver presented by Xfinity. I didn't need Sol Ruka using the word booming in her answer just to get over the fucking PR bullshit. This led to Judgment Day talking shit to Zarya about everybody in this segment being champions with the exception of Zarya. I don't like seeing Liv Morgan on my TV screen once. I literally, as many people know, I watch the Raw feed of the international feed on my Netflix. I use my VPN to watch the international feed. When Liv and Raquel came out to the ring, they cut a promo. As soon as I heard Liv Morgan say, "Welcome to," I muted the TV because I cannot stand to listen to her talk for any length of time. Especially when she does the stupid Monday Night Morgan bullshit. Like, I think she's fine in the ring. Her matches aren't, as Asher would say, my cup of tea. But at the same time, I don't think that she's unable to perform in the ring. I think she's relatively good. I don't think she's as good as half the internet seems to think she is. And I don't know if that's men who want to be with her or people who actually think she can wrestle. I can never tell why people make Liv Morgan trend. I think it's a bit of both. I appreciate Zoe Stark censoring Liv Morgan on all of her entrance stuff today on Twitter. That was the best Liv Morgan post I saw all day. I don't want this match. I don't want anything to do with this match because all Zarya is a better Raquel Rodriguez.
Agreed.
That's it. I don't even know if she's still Raquel Rodriguez. I don't know if it's because it used to be Gonzalez, right?
Yeah, but she's
I always
Rodriguez.
forget which one's the new one, which one's the old one.
Yeah, Rodriguez.
Trick is throwing shit around in the back. The screen goes out, but we hear Ava throw him out. Fine. I didn't need this either, but okay. Like, there wasn't a thing for him to interfere with, so there was no reason to throw him out of the building. So I don't understand the purpose of this.
No idea.
Javon Evans and Myles Borne were defeated by Dark State. This was really fun. I loved this. Dark State looked fantastic here. I mean, Osiris Griffin was in the match, so obviously they looked fantastic, but I mean in the ring. They were great. If you don't understand that line, go back and watch the Stand and Deliver show. I thought me and Jose were going to break Astrid.
You did.
No, I thought this was a really good combination for Dark State with Reader Man, Dion Lennox, and Osiris Griffin. Dion Lennox has always been relatively good in the ring when we get to see him. I say relatively good because we've never really been able to see him in any length of time to know how good he can be. But I think he's got talent. I think he's got a good look. I think he doesn't fit with Dark State, but at the same time, I don't hate the idea that he's in Dark State because I think it makes sense from a character perspective. Myles and Javon were surprisingly good in the ring together. I thought it showcased how much Myles can fly a bit working with Javon here. It also was nice to see him as the powerhouse because he's normally paired with Tavion Heights, who's an immense powerhouse, so he doesn't get to show that. It doesn't come across in the same way when he's teaming with Tavion versus when he was teaming with Javon here. We're finally building a story with 8 people taking on Dark State. 4 on one side, 4 on Dark State. Shocking! We should have been doing this from the fucking beginning.
The math is
We should
nothing,
not have been
finally.
doing 6-man tags.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was great. I thought this was a home run of a segment. It made Dark State look great. They win relatively clean. Charlie and Tavion are up at the top. Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the chat while Astrid goes ahead and gives her thoughts on Dark State versus Javon and Myles.
I mean, you said it all. It was fun. I like seeing Myles like this because he was able to be highlighted a little bit more than he usually does. I mean, that drop kick, chef's kiss every single time. But I wonder if this is the moment that once we finally get, I say finally because we haven't gotten that part of the story yet, but once we get to that step and we get that 4 versus 4, and that's when Javon turns and he reveals that he's the leader of it. Because I feel like it's one of those things that if you keep people waiting a little bit too long, I feel like people might lose interest as to like what's happening with the storyline here if nothing really happens afterwards. But I like the part of having even Charlie and Tavion look on and just like, so the kid really stepped up. This is his own thing with Javon, but now we have, a target in our backs at the same time here. So I think that was interesting to begin with. But again, I feel like it was more than anything a showcase for Myles. And you're muted.
Holds an edge. Damn. I do have a question. We're all talking about who's the leader of Dark State. The internet's been talking about this for a while. What if the leader of Dark State is just one of the members of Dark State? Like, we all keep saying there's somebody else pulling the string. Is there? Could it just be Dion Lennox or Saquon Shugars as the leader of Dark State?
And this is the part that I feel like the only one that would kind of make sense to would be Dion, just because it's the one that we know out of the 3 of them that really was established before all this happened. But it just feels like it kind of be like underwhelming in a way, just because we don't know him very well either. So
I agree that I think there's a bigger name leading the group, but at the same time, we've never really, NXT's never given us any inclination that there's somebody else in this group other than the 4. Normally, we know by this point in the story, if we're guessing who's the leader, there's normally been a reference to somebody pulling the strings or somebody doing. We've not heard word one, whisper one from Dark State that somebody other than the 4 of them are part of this group.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, yes, Myles Borne. This is a
he
factual
sure looks like
statement.
it.
I mean, he has the tattoo because he loves Randy Orton so much. Randy Orton literally taught him how to do the pose after the St. Louis show because Randy Orton understands that the internet thinks that, he's Baby Orton. I believe the Supreme Overlord somewhere. No, I can confirm Bobby Munson is not the leader of Dark State. I can confirm that. I can't confirm about El Asesino, the greatest masked wrestler in all of Canada, but I can confirm that Bobby Munson is not the leader of Dark State. Spears and Ava are backstage. He says that he's just looking out for his friends. So I'm guessing that means that we're going to have a future title match between the member of the Culling taking on Hank Tank at some point, which is
Probably.
fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't care as long as somebody beats Hank Tank in record time. I don't care who it is at this point. El Asesino makes Bobby so mad. Best wrestler. Yes, El Asesino is fantastic. Bobby is a hater. We then get Imamura being very sad and saying that his time to NXT is coming to an end. But it's all an act to get a tag team title match against Hank Tank next week, and Ava falls for it. Good job, Imamura. I mean,
Okay.
fine.
It was silly, but
whatever.
that one kind of came out of nowhere. It made me laugh at least. It like took me out of like how I was like feeling about the show in itself, and the reaction from Josh too. But it was something I never thought that was the reason why.
Not that this is a high bar to clear. This is the best backstage segment, with the exception of the next of the last one on the entire fucking show. So that makes it the second best backstage. I thought it was the best, then I realized there's another segment coming up that is better than this, but it's not far. We then get Sopranos Part 2, the longer uncut edition, which is Tony D'Angelo and Rizzo in the hotel room, which doesn't end the way you think it does. All you dirty, dirty people. Rizzo says that she wants to go talk to Stax. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think she should go talk to Stax. Tony has the right idea here. He tells her that this is war, that there is no coming back from this. Stax drew his line. He can't trust him. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know what Stax is capable of, which is why he can't let Riz go home. He has to send her to the safe house. Problem: if the underboss is coming after you, doesn't he know where the safe houses are?
That's true.
No, great. I understand I'm putting more thought into this segment than NXT put into this segment, but I'm just saying. I
mean,
just
you're right,
have
you're
to
right.
make sure I say it because I know somebody on the internet's going to say it. But isn't this fucking pointless if he's in the family?
Yeah, unless they got a new safe house after he left.
Yes, in the last 2 days, they've gone ahead and gotten a new safe house. Like, the fuck is this?
I think when they realized too, the moment that she's like, "Oh yeah, where's Luca?" He's like, "He went to clear his head a few hours ago," and she's like, "That was a while ago," and I'm like, "Oh no."
Luca's dead, just so we're all clear. Luca's dead. You know what, though? There's an opportunity here. There's a fun opportunity. Because I haven't heard of his name popping up on Ring of Honor or on AEW. And again, not a shot, just the thing. Can we bring Two Dimes back? Let's bring back Two Dimes from the dead. Stax brings back Two Dimes, and we get Tony D'Angelo and Luca taking on Two Dimes and Stax. It could be one dead guy on each side, plus the boss and the underboss. It'll be fantastic.
One dead guy on each side. Oh my gosh.
What?
One dead guy on each side.
Yeah, I mean, he got thrown in and he was sleeping with the fishes.
Fish.
This is what happened to tune back in and say, what did this turn into this problem? And this segment was way the fuck too long. Way too long.
Yeah.
Ricky Saints starts cutting a promo about the NA title match until Ethan Page walks up, and then for some reason Lexis King blames Ricky Saints for him losing the Heritage Cup, which I don't understand, but reasons. Like, why are you attacking him? You're still getting your match next week. Like, what's the...
I'd be like,
he did you a favor.
Now. Maybe.
We then get the best backstage segment. One, because it didn't involve Ethan Page. And two, because it involved Andre Chase. Chase U is back, bitches! Yes! Chase U is back. This time with less Thea Hale. So I'll enjoy it even more.
True.
We get a rundown of next week's card as of now, which is going to be a confrontation between Tony D and Stacks. I would have waited on that. I would have continued doing vignettes for at least 2 or 3 more weeks before we get the confrontation, but whatever. Ricky Saints defends his Intercontinental title, his North American Championship against Lexis King. Hank Tank will take on Briggs and Imamura for the tag team titles. And now we're in our main event. Millie says, as far as Chase U's back, let's fucking go, but also rude. And then the main event. Ashford, obviously, I'm going to let you talk about the main event because this is your wheelhouse. Stephanie Vaquer taking on and defeating Roxanne Perez.
I did wonder, and hopefully you can shed some light into this. Is this the first time 2 Hispanic ladies main event the show? Because I was thinking about that too while I was watching this. I couldn't think of anybody else so far.
No. Well,
Maybe
have we
Lola?
ever had the singles match between Bailey and Roxanne? And if we did it main event?
I don't think it main evented though. That's the only thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to look it up. But I was.
We probably did at some point in the Divas era because of AJ Lee. I'm sure AJ. Well, no, because she wouldn't have been evented against anybody else who was Hispanic. AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella must have main evented a Raw at some point, right?
No, but I mean NXT though, not Raw.
Oh, NXT. Yeah, it would have been the first time.
Yeah.
If Bailey versus Roxanne never main evented in a singles match, then yes.
That's what I was thinking when I saw this, and I was like, we always talk about stuff like this, and that made me think of like, this is, in my mind, I couldn't think of anybody else. This is the first time I saw 2 Hispanic women main event in the show, and I thought that was something really important that we don't really often get to talk about, to be honest. And I enjoyed the match. I thought it was really fun. I feel like it again is one of those things like it's a typical Roxanne match for me in that aspect of it. So like nothing out of the ordinary really happened, but it was a fun match to see. And if it is her last one, I feel like she did very great because that's what she's been doing lately with her performances. I feel she's been very consistent. Again, this is one of those that, just like earlier, I didn't think that Stephanie was going to lose the championship. But again, it was one of those that if it's the last one for Roxanne, might as well have her main event for the title that she like she actually lost recently. So nothing out of the, nothing really out of the usual stuff here. But fun match. Like we said, Stephanie retains. Julia coming out, giving that stare, and all of a sudden they pan out the camera, show to the almost not the crowd, but like another section, and we see Jordan standing there as well, which is what
she's in a buff.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate the Booker T thing has caught on. Makes me want to hate the move, but I also love how Stephanie goes into it. I also love how Stephanie clapped back at Charlotte Flair. She's like, "Yeah, hers is good, but mine's better," and she just puts a peach emoji. If you know, you know.
Yeah. I did like the fact that it happened during Raw, and even just thinking of 2 things. First, that, and then the fact that it got a reaction out of it from people so quickly. And I was like, she's never been on Raw, never done it on Raw before, and she got a reaction like people knew who this was and what she was about to do. And just thinking about the fact that between her and Julia and Roxanne, I feel like they were just giving us a preview to like really what's coming with the women's division on Raw soon. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I put in the chat between me, you, and Bobby. I said this is a preview of 2027 in the women's division. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez. That's your top level main event scene in a year or 2 on Raw. I thought this match was great. Like you said, there was nothing spectacular about it. Stephanie Vaquer wrestling for the 3rd time in 4 days. I thought she did fine. I thought she did great. The one thing I'll take away from your thing about the people know the move, and stuff. This is the smarkiest crowd we're gonna get all year. So them knowing who NXT people are isn't a huge stretch at Mania. During Mania,
No, I don't want to say it's a stretch. I just like that. Even I say it because to me, at least, when I was watching the parts of WrestleMania, there were moments like, even for example, night 1, that triple threat main event. There were so many moments that I would have been chanting, "This is awesome" somehow, and they didn't. And there's so many times I would have chanted something other than just singing the songs from the people, and there was no creativity towards any chants whatsoever. And
Well,
I
that's
was
also
like,
why the fans sucked this weekend.
yeah, so that's the only part that I'm like, I didn't like that from this crowd whatsoever. That I'm like, that would have been this is awesome chant. This would have been a, like, you know, Wrestle Forever chant, you know, something like that that we usually get. And I feel like this crowd really wasn't doing that. So that's why I'm glad in that aspect, thinking of like the whole weekend as a whole. The fact that this is the first time she's on Raw and she's doing the move and she had that big reaction that she did. To me, that was huge because I feel like it kind of woke them up in a way, because I feel like, I don't want to say they were quiet, but they were like kind of inconsistent. So it was nice that she got that kind of reaction for the first time she does it. So I was glad that she did, just because of that, having that aspect of like she got a reaction out of them, and this is just the beginning because it's the first time we see her on Raw.
And that's going to end our show tonight. Astrid, tell the good people where they can find you.
I know this weekend, I think I saw it on the calendar, Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Bobby will be putting out our companion movie review that will be hopefully recording tomorrow. And then we have another one coming up after that about the movie Drop. I keep thinking it's a different name, but it's not. So Drop is the next one coming up as well after Companion. So if you haven't watched them, Companion is on Max, and Drop is in movie theater right now for most people, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, you can find me on Tuesday again with this one right here, doing Taking Over all over again. But yeah, other than that, you can find me on my Twitter and Blue Skies, Astrid Bizarro, my Instagram and Threads, Astrid Bizarro20. And I finally got my 300 subs, but now on the road to 400. Woohoo! So yeah, subscribe if you
Always
haven't.
moving the goalpost. Always moving the goalpost, Miss Astrid. And again, if you want to support Astrid financially, if you're going to be buying things at WWE Shop anyways, please go ahead and use this QR code instead. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the one I wanted. There we go. The WWE Shop affiliate one. And if you want to support Astrid, buying a shirt is a cute little shirt here that Melba Collins and Mike the Ref are wearing. You can go ahead and do that. You know what, Astrid? I'm going to do this one last time, even though we're not talking about them right now. I just want to do it one last time because it's probably going to be the last time I get to do it. We were just talking about the D'Angelo family, not this D'Angelo family, but the other one.
Dang, we haven't used that in so long. I forgot I was there.
I'm so sad I'm going to have to delete it.
No, you can keep it there.
Oh, that made me sad.
No.
Anyways, why? We're not going to need it. There's not going to be a D'Angelo family after next week.
That's fine.
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Skies at edfries12584. You can find me on Twitter, twitch.tv/edfries2002. You can catch me next for my next show will be the Doctor Who show on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/edfries2002. Me and Peggy are going to be doing that this Sunday evening at some point. Follow the socials to find out when exactly that show is going to go live. I am still working on the video for that, but I'm very excited to go ahead and have that. It may be an Our Local Establishment thing. It may not. We'll find out on show day when I decide whether or not it's going to be on there or not. I'm also going to be back here next Tuesday talking all things NXT with Astrid, and then that same weekend, so next weekend, next Sunday, May 4th on Star Wars Day, me and Andre have permission from the host of Marvel Talk, the Empress Peggy. We are able to do the Thunderbolts review with or without her. If she's available on Star Wars Day, she will be joining us. If she is unavailable because it is Star Wars Day, then we'll be doing it on our own. We're very excited for that one. It's going to be a fun movie. I got my movie tickets today finally because my Comfy Theater finally put the tickets on sale. But I have tickets. We were the first person in that particular showing, so I got to pick whatever seat I wanted. Very excited. But yeah, and of course, if you want to follow Our Local Establishment, you can do that. No, that's Astrid's. You can do that right here at Ole Podcasts on almost all social medias and YouTube and Twitch at Our Local Establishment. Please make sure that you give this video a like, give it a subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a follow on Twitch if you're over there. Make sure that you support Astrid and all the other wonderful creators here. And leave a comment. Either me, Bobby, one of us will be in there in the comment section every week going ahead and reviewing your comments. So please give us your thoughts on our show. Give us, complaints, concerns. If you want less of me and more of Astrid, say that too. It's fine. I don't care. You won't hurt my feelings. Yes, you will. Don't do it. Anyways, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
I am in misery.